What's up, guys? Welcome back to Almost Functional 40K. Just got back from the RTT last night that I went to this weekend with the Space Wolves list, the Dreadnought heavy list. So I'm going to go ahead and break down how that went and some thoughts on how I'm changing the list and what I'm submitting to Nova. All right, so first thing we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and pull up my list from the event. That should be right there. All right, so all right, let me make sure this is widescreen. All right, let's go full screen with this. All right, so I am running Champions of Russ, and I have decided that is what I'm going to be taking to Nova. So we start off with Bjorn, an Iron Priest, Logan Grimnar as my Warlord, Murderfang, Techmarine. Logan's going to be running by himself. Assault Intercessors with Jump Pack, Ballistus Dread, Gladiator Lancer, Plasma Inceptor Squad. It says Assault Bolters here, but it was a Plasma Squad. 1 Infiltrator Squad, 3 Redemptors, 2 with Plasma, 1 with Gatling, 1 Scout Squad, and a Wolf and Dread. So Bjorn, was happy with Bjorn, did everything I would want him to do. Iron Priest, Logan, Murderfang, Techmarine, none of this is changing. This all, I was happy with this. So I'll get a little more detail each game as I go through the games. Assault Intercessors, Ballistus, Lancer, they're probably changing. Well, they are changing. That's staying the same. Inceptors are changing. Did fix it to say Plasma when I submitted for Nova. Infiltrator Squad, 3 Redemptors were great. They're staying. Scout Squad staying. Wolf and Dread is getting cut, and I'll show you at the end after I go through the tournament what I'm replacing some of that with. So first round, I actually ended up going into another Space Wolf player. His name was Aiden. We had a really great game. He was running Gladius. He had some Thunderwolves. Actually, we'll go ahead and pull his list up. I'm probably going to have him on the show here coming up soon to give a little more breakdown on his list in our game and just his thoughts on Space Wolves. He actually had a Chaos Space Wolf list. They were made up to look like corn, but they were really nice looking. But his list was, let me make sure this popped up. Yep, all right. His list was Bjorn, a lieutenant with fire discipline, the lone lieutenant with combi weapon, who I like, Logan Grimnar, Ragnar, and 2 battle leaders on Thunderwolf. One Assault Intercessor Squad with Jump Pack. I had a Blade Guard squad that he was running with Ragnar. The Hellblasters were riding in a Land Raider Redeemer with the Lieutenant with Fire Discipline. There's the Redeemer. 2 Scout squads, 2 Thunderwolf Cavalry squads. So this played very well. I like his list. He may tweak a few things in it depending on how it played for him the rest of the tournament he was talking about. But I think it's a fairly solid list. He beat me 69-62 with this list. It was a very tight game. He actually, I made a mistake early. I won the role for attacker defender. I let him be defender. With this being one of the first games of the list, I didn't think about it. We were playing layout 1, so he infiltrated his scouts up. Then when he won the first turn roll, he infiltrated them up on the middle objective. Then he won first turn roll, he scouted towards me. And then on his turn, moved them up to move block the Dreadnoughts, where they couldn't come through the middle point of the ruin to get toward the center table. They had to go around, and only 1 Dread could get through to kill. So he actually put me a turn behind, and then he came up with a Thunderwolf to wolf jail the edges, kind of. So it took me a turn or 2 to get through those, and then after that, I started digging back into the game, but he tanked my score early. We did talk about it. I should have taken a secret mission end of turn 3, which I could have achieved the 3 in the middle because I was killing all his models, and I had a lot of stuff left just because, unfortunately, his list with the Hellblasters, the Thunder Wolves, the Blade Guard. Everything is damage 2 and going into Redemptors and Bjorn. That really, really is not very effective. So I should have taken that secret mission because I did control. He only had a couple models left, so I controlled the whole board. I controlled the 3 middle objectives. So then I could have possibly won 72-69 if I'd done that. I've never really taken secret missions, but I may have to consider that if I get in that situation in the future. So that was a good learning thing. I also am going to change the list to have at least one more scout squad. And if I win the role for attacker defender, I will be defender going forward to prevent that happening. I didn't want to throw away my only scout squad, which is why I didn't do that in that game, but getting pinned in is worse than losing that scout squad early. So I think that is something definitely worth changing. Aiden and I had lunch after the game, got a lot of Space Wolves talk in. So some of these changes I'll be making to the list will be based off his and my game and just our conversations. Very nice guy, very solid Space Wolf player. So that was really, really helpful for building the list going forward. 2 Nova. Round 2, I ended up playing into Eldari, a guy named Sean, who I've played before. This ended up being a very, very close game. I'll pull his list up real quick. This game, I actually ended up winning 61-60. So super, super tight the whole way through. The Dreads, once again, were really, really hard to kill. So I was really happy with him. He was running the Battle Host, Altark Way Leaper, Avatar Kane, Death Jester, Farseer, Skyrunner, Spirit Seer with the Weeping Stones. The way Altark had the Phoenix Gem. 10-man Guardian squads with the Bright Lance, 5 Rangers, 1 squad of Scooping Hawks, 3 squads of Warp Spiders, Wind Riders, Wraith Guard. Wraith Guard are a pain. They haven't played into them in a while, so he moved up turn 1. I moved out to get some shots on them. I shot them with a Redemptor, completely whiffed, didn't do a single wound, and they picked the Redemptor up in the shoot back. So that was crazy. So I was like, all right, I can't shoot these things. I have to deal with them in combat. They actually ended up surviving the whole game. I got him down to 1 model in the Spirits here at one point, but then he healed 1 back, and at that point he was pushing with the Avatar and other stuff. And so I just decided I had to leave that squad alone for the time being and deal with other stuff. And has never ended up being able to get enough firepower back over there to deal with them. I was able to keep jumping stuff onto that objective to out OC them. So they were just kind of sitting there killing little stuff for the most point. They didn't really kill much big after that first turn because I did really, really whittle the unit down, but I never was able to fully finish them off. The Warp Spiders, Murderfang went in, picked up basically 2 squads of those, left the Exarch alive in both, just because good saves on his part, poor dice rolling on mine. Killed 4. He pulled out, so I wasn't in range of the Exarch, so I piled into the other squad. Same thing, killed 4. He left 1 guy engaged with me so that I couldn't pile into the 3rd squad because they were all kind of bunched up. I thought I was going to be able to pick up all 15, but I picked up 8, and so the other squad was able to jump over, but they whiffed on my scouts, and my scouts were able to kill them. So that really, it did stop me uppy downing that turn because they were within 6 inches of the scouts. So that cost me a couple points, but they were able to finish them off and then go contest the objective from the little 2-man Wraith Guard unit at that point. But the Dreads, other than the Avatar, he just really didn't have anything to deal with the Dreads other than the Wraith Guard. So once they were whittled, it wasn't bad. He probably should have come out with the Avatar a little earlier. He was a little cautious with it. But once it got in, it was able to pick up a 2nd Redemptor and Bjorn in the middle of the table. But I was able to squeak out a 61-60 win. I do need a little more mission play. Both my first 2 games, I realized the way the list was currently constructed was going to be very, very low-scoring tight games. So I need to make some slight tweaks to get a little more mission play in there, which I have done, and I'll go over those changes here after we go over this last game. Round 3, I end up playing into Tau. It was the Kroot hunting pack. So it's actually a really cool game. I thought it was a very, very cool army. I don't think it fights into my list really well. I ended up winning this game 86-58, even with my lack of some scoring. But the Kroot are a little hard to kill. He's got Feel No Pains in one big squad with a character. Next, I'll run you through his list real quick. But by turn 3, I'd kind of whittled through most of it and then started just kind of pushing around the score. But the first couple turns, it was real tight. So he had Dark Strider, Flesh Shaper, Lone Speak, Trail Shaper, War Shaper. In the battle line, he had a 20-man. He had 3 20-man carnivore squads. Sorry, this list is hard to read. 1, 2, you have 3 20-man carnivore squads. A 10-man, 2 10-man fire warrior, no, 3 10-man fire warriors. 2 3-man Krutox, a 10-man Pathfinder, broadside battle suits, a 2-man and a 1-man. He had a Ghost Keel. They had 2 units of Krutox Rampagers. So like I said, it was kind of tight the first couple turns just because he had so many bodies. But the Redemptors have a lot of little attacks like Storm Bolters and stuff like that. The Assault Cannon Dread or Gatling Cannon Dread was real nice in this matchup. And then once I got into combat, I was able to, the Jump Intercessors were nice. They had a lot of attacks that helped clear out some of that chaff. And then Murderfang himself, on one round, killed a big Kroot squad, and a Krutox squad and a Rampager squad. The 20-man Kroot squad, I did fire his Flamer and Bolter into it. I'm trying to remember, I might have shot some other small arms fire from some other stuff, but I got him down to about, I want to say like 14-ish models in the squad, maybe a little more. But then at Logan's full rerolls up, and so I had chosen sustained hits. So Murderfang ran in, killed about just over half the Kroot that were left. He fought me with, I charged the Kroot squad and the Krutox riders at the same time. Fought me back with the Krutox riders. I was able to pick them up. Then he fought me back with the Kroot because they were still engaged. I was able to pick them up. And I piled into the Rampagers, and then they swung on me, and then he was able to pick them up. And then he piled into the broadsides. I did pop the 6-inch consolidate to help him get into this stuff, and managed to pick up 1 broadside. So yeah, so I'm not sure the exact points, but I think he said it was about 700 points that Murderfang picked up that turn, which really crushed his one flank and really made the game a lot easier. So I really had to pinball with Murderfang twice. This time really well. The Warp Spider is just a little bit. In the Space Wolf game, I really only got him into 1 Thunderwolf squad, and he killed a bunch of Thunderwolves, but he wasn't able to ping pong off that. And then he was able to, Aiden was able to kill him before Murderfang could get anything else. Although Murderfang did heroic in with 2 wounds left onto the Hellblaster squad, but the lieutenant with the Power Fist was able to kill him. He failed 1 save and couldn't make a Feel No Pain. If he had, then he would have killed a lot of the Hellblasters, and then it would have got kind of crazy. But he did manage to do that turn game 1. Game 2, he did left a couple left. Game 3, he really went off. So he ramped up as the day went. So I'm really excited to see what he can do over 9 games at Nova. Sure, he'll have some games where he whiffs, doesn't do much, but I'm hoping he'll have a couple games where he really pops off. But with that being said, I'm going to go up and bring up Battle Scribe, and we can look at the changes I am planning on making to this list. All right. So as you can say, here's the current Bjorn, Logan, Murderfang, Iron Priest, Techmarine. Like I said, that's all staying the same. The Stealth Intercessor Squad for 80 points. They're fine. They can kill some little stuff. They can do actions. Inceptors, they are Plasma Inceptors. They're fine. I like them. The 3-inch Deep Strike. They can kill some little lone-op characters and stuff real well. Infiltrators, awesome. Love the Infiltrators. So they aren't going anywhere. Scout Squad did well. We'll leave the Scout Squad. Down here, the Ballistus, just with the amount of small arms and big shooting from the Redemptors and their ability to kill stuff up close, I don't really feel I need the Ballistus. Same thing goes for the Lancer. 3 Redemptors, they're the core of the list. They're amazing. They're not going to the Wolf and Dread. I was a little disappointed in. One, he's a little easier to kill, and 2, the OC0. So even if he did kill something, he really did have something support to even hold objectives. So those are the 3 main things I'm dropping. Of what I've decided to add is we're going to duplicate the Infiltrator Squad, so now I can really protect the backfield. We're going to take a second Scout Squad. This one is just going to be bolters with the Chainsword on the Sergeant. There's no upgrades in this squad. This is a throwaway score mission, screen out type unit. Then the other thing I wanted to add was to replace the Wolf and Dread. I still want another Combat Dread, so I actually ended up taking a Ballistus Dread, or not Ballistus, a Brutalis Dread, and I gave him the Brutalis Talons. I did leave him with the Heavy Bolter, because I have enough big attacks. I thought I wanted some more small attacks on the range versus the Multi-melta I really like. And so that left us with 105 points. So I was debating some things. With 105 points, you can take the Lone Op Lieutenant and Venergian Wolf Squad, 3rd Infiltrator, 3-man Thunderwolf Squad. There's lots of stuff you can do with 100 points. But I decided to go with the Calidus. One, the double CP nerf with Bjorn is kind of cool. This event is not using the new rules for Assassin, so this will be the old rules and old points. Where is the Calidus? There she is. All right, so using her up down, using her lone op, using her CP thing. So I got 2 Scout Squads in her that can go up down. I got the Inceptors that can come down. I can deep strike the Assault Intercessors in matchups if I need to. So the Infiltrators should control my backfield. Nothing should be able to drop behind me. Dreadnoughts control midboard, so nothing can really set it up so nothing can really drop between the Dreadnoughts and the Infiltrators most of the time. And if it does, it can't charge the Infiltrators from reserve, so the Dreadnoughts will have a chance to counter it. And then on their side, their deployment zone stuff will have 3 up-down units, the Inceptors, and possibly the jump pack Intercessors to go score and threaten there. So I believe the way this list is built, I can be really tough in the center, just zone out my backfield, and have units to throw away to score and or threaten his backfield, whoever I'm playing. So I think it feels like a really well-rounded list. I have already submitted this to Nova. I submitted it last night. I honestly really like the list. I'm really hopeful that I can do fairly well with it. So we'll see how it does. But that's basically it. So with 2-1 at the RTT, the one game I lost was a little my fault. One with some lack of mission play and screening in the list, and 2, not using the screening units I did have when I had the opportunity to. And also, he didn't have a lot of shooting, so I necessarily didn't have to be as hidden behind the terrain as I was, just out of habit. I could have deployed more out in the open, and then not also that would have prevented me getting boxed in. So that's another good thing to remember. Don't deploy out of habit. If your opponent doesn't have shooting, you don't necessarily have to be behind buildings. You could possibly put yourself in different positions. So that's just something to consider when going into these games that I need to think about is Do they have shooting that scares me? If not, this list is super, super tough. I can deploy a little more aggressively with it. If they're fast combat-y, I can deploy a little more back because I do have the shooting to threaten stuff once it hits midfield. So just be a little more thoughtful in my deployment, not just, this is how I normally deploy. And that should help with the list. So I actually have to get the Brutalis built and painted by this weekend, and I have to paint up Logan and the second Scout Squad. They're already built and primed. They're just not painted yet. Then I have to flock the bases. So that's what I'll be doing over the next couple days, heading up to Nova. But once again, thank you guys for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, all that cool stuff. I'll keep you updated on how I do at Nova and any other content I can get out to you guys here in the next little bit. But thank you, and I will catch you next time.